So welcome to our first AMA. This session will also be recorded, so all answers you will hear today and also a quick presentation at the beginning will be recorded and can be viewed again afterwards. It will be uploaded on YouTube within the next days. So everybody who has no time for today can watch it in the future or even in some weeks now. So welcome to our first AMA of the Rocksolid Estate AG. Today, we will answer your questions that you sent to us via mail, but you're also able to send your questions in the chat, and we'll answer them during or after the questions that we will answer now that we already received via email. So thank you, everybody, for joining today. We have a lot of viewers today. That's very nice that everybody wants to know some detailed information about Rocksolid and the tokenization that we already did in Austria. I will start with a quick presentation, therefore I will share my screen. So we as Rocksolid Estate, we wanted to make real estate accessible for anybody out there. And therefore we created the Rocksolid Estate AG. And together today in the room is also Bernhard Wudinger and Christian Sommer, and also Leandra, who will manage the call today. And what we do is tokenizing real estate. In the last years, it was very interesting to see how the tokenization area and the real estate market progressed. And with Rocksolid Estate, we combine these two markets. But at the beginning, I want to give the word to Bernhard and Christian.
Yeah, hello also from my side. Maybe a short introduction. So my name is Bernhard Wudinger. I'm also one of the co-founders of Rocksolid Estate, and I'm also a member of the executive board, where I'm actually mainly responsible for everything that is real estate related in the company, which means, for example, transaction management or asset management.
Yeah, well, hello from my side as well. I'm also very happy that so many people have joined us tonight. I'm Christian Sommer. I'm the head of the supervisory board. I've been in the commercial real estate industry for more than 25 years. And so I'm the first step my colleagues have to take as far as controlling is concerned. And that's my main target, actually, to keep everything secure.
Thank you very much. Once again, my name is Sebastian Arnesida. I'm the CEO of Rocksolid Estate AG. And together with our team, we want to make the experience of investing into real estate very interesting for the people out there, from 100 euro to 100,000, because that was our goal, to make it accessible for anybody. So when I jump into the first information about what Rocksolid does, we tokenize real estate. We tokenize the real estate with the ROC token, and the ROC token represents all real estate Rocksolid owns. And with a minimum investment of 100 euro, you participate in the earnings and the performance of the development of all properties. And the ROC token represents the price of all real estate we own. You will receive a monthly payout. We're already paying out since last year, and there are many more things to come in the future. And when you own the ROC token has a price. And the monthly payouts, in addition to that, are paid out on a monthly basis and will increase in the future depending on what happens in the company. For instance, when we get a higher yield or optimize the real estate, then we, of course, can pay out more. And also when we, for instance, sell a real estate, then we also can pay out more. And maybe Bernhard can tell you a little bit more about the whole thing behind it.
Exactly. That directly brings me to the next point of the slide. So it's really important for us to understand that the Rocksolid Estate AG is not a project development company. We actually buy only existing buildings that generate income, because what is really important for us, we don't want to put you as the ROC token holders in a situation where you have to take over any kind of project development risks. And what makes our concept really unique is that we don't take any yearly management fees or any kind of deposit fees. And very soon, we will also be able to offer you the possibility as ROC token holders to sell and trade ROC tokens on European exchanges. So there are already discussions ongoing. And as I mentioned, Rocksolid Estate doesn't take any management fees. And if you look at the chart here, it's really nice to see the more properties we own as Rocksolid Estate, the rental income will increase. And furthermore, when the rental income will increase or the properties we own, the volume will increase, the cost structure will get lower and lower. And therefore, we will be able to pay out a bigger profit to you as investors in the future. And also to give you a short overview on this slide, you can see which asset classes are actually interesting for us. So actually the main focus right now is Vienna in Austria. And we are looking at mainly hospitality buildings like apartment hotels, and also office buildings, or also industrial or light industrial buildings.
And that's very interesting for us because the diversification makes the potential of profit and growth of the whole real estate that we own very interesting. Because, for instance, when you invest only into hotel and apartments, it's riskier than when you diversify your portfolio into office buildings or industrial buildings, and all that represent the ROC token. So the ROC token represents all that. You don't have to buy several ROC tokens. That's just one ROC token that you buy and can also trade on, like Bernard mentioned, very soon in the future on secondary markets. And yeah, that's also a part of our company. And to make this real, we have experts out of very interesting and different markets. On the one hand side, from the real estate sector, on the other hand side, from the crypto and tokenization sector. And all together, when you want to combine such a big project like this, you need the experts out there. And what's also important, when you want to do something like this in Europe, you need a prospectus, a capital market prospectus. And with our whole legal team, we made this possible, that people out there can invest starting from 100 euro. And what makes this especially very special, Christian will tell you a little bit more about the comparison about the traditional investment vehicles out there with the ROC token, and what's the potential for you.
Yeah, well, as you all might know, I mean, there are different ways of investing into real estate. Of course, the direct way is you buy a flat or a house or even an office building or a hotel or anything like that. That, of course, puts you in a special situation. You're the owner. It takes some time, it takes a lot of money, and it takes a lot of fees. So, of course, the financial market already developed some ideas to overcome all these negative parts of investing into real estate. And so they invented real estate funds and real estate corporations, which are listed on stock exchange. And of course, in the US and also in Great Britain, there are the REITs, the real estate investment trusts available. So there are also already some possibilities to invest into real estate via, let's say, a vehicle like a company or like a fund. So we actually tried to combine all the advantages and to cancel more or less the disadvantages of all these products by inventing the idea of having a real estate tokenization via a company offering participation rights because they have the advantages as some other products in the market, that the liquidity is high. If you have the secondary market available, the fees are very low, especially compared to real estate funds. Of course, the tradability is also very high because you can trade with our product then 24 hours, 7 days a week. And if you have, for example, stock listed real estate corporation or a REIT, they just have to use the opening hours of the stock exchanges, which are maybe 8-9 hours a day. Also on different parts of the earth. So it could change if you have something in the US. Maybe you stay up late and trade then in the nighttime. But with the ROC token, it will be possible to trade the 24 hours a day. And of course, the fees, especially compared to the funds, as I mentioned before, are a big deal because if you invest in a real estate fund, and currently in Germany, in Austria, and Switzerland, we have around 200 billion euros in real estate funds. They have such high fees that they have a net yield of around 1 to 2% a year. And of course, that gives you, based on the inflation, not a big gain actually, because you're just losing money more or less. And also, if you try to get out of a fund, it takes, for example, in Germany, the big real estate funds, they have a 12 months period of getting out of the fund. And with the ROC token on the secondary market, you will have a few seconds to sell your ROC token then in the future. And that combines, as I said, the advantages actually of real estate investment on a fractional basis, because you're invested in a complete portfolio of real estate. And that is also a big difference to the crowdfunding ideas which were on the market in the last years, where you usually invested into just one real estate in one property. And most of the time also you had the development risk, which also was sometimes not really a good idea, because some properties, they were never built, and the people lost their money. And that is something where we actually put a special eye on, because we want our investors to have a very secure investment, because that is real estate, but it's existing real estate. And as Bernhard already mentioned before, you have a complete developed real estate if we invest into one, and they pay out the rental yield from the day one. And that is also what we distribute to our investors. So that is the big advantage also to other products, because they maybe pay out once a year, a dividend or something like that. And we pay out on a monthly basis. So you get your money much faster. And of course, as I mentioned, the tradability is also possible between two people, which is not possible if you are owner of a real estate fund or real estate corporation share or a REIT. So if, for example, I decide to make a deal with Bernhard and I say, do you want to invest 100,000 euro into real estate? And he says, yes. And I said, listen, I have some ROC token available. We could even just exchange money, crypto or fiat or whatever, against my ROC token. And that takes a few seconds. And we could do that anytime, but you never could do that with the real estate fund or some shares which are just noted on a stock exchange. So as you see on the slide, the advantage is actually a worldwide market available with a very low cost structure. And because of the digitalization, we have a very low cost fee structure, and therefore a higher return on investment, of course. And that is also something which is very important, adding, of course, the security of a blockchain, because this is something which no real estate fund, no real estate corporation, no REIT has available, that you have a direct connection into the crypto world. And that means that you have the complete security via the blockchain and the speed of the blockchain. And that is actually what makes this ROC token so special and so unique. And well, that's why we created it actually, because we wanted to have something where you invest in a very serious, secure investment product, which is real estate, but with the speed of a modern world. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. So as you can see, the ROC token is a very modern thing of investing, and also investing to the real estate market, a very old market. And to make this possible, the ROC token is the way to go, because we are an Austrian-based company that offers you the ROC token. In the future, you can trade it on many different exchanges. You will receive a monthly payout starting from day one, because the real estate that we buy generates revenue from day one. And to start now our AMA, you sent your questions to us via email or whatsoever. Some people expected some problems by posting the messages and questions in the chat. So feel free to also send your questions via LinkedIn as a comment, for instance, or in the investor Telegram group. Yeah, thank you very much, everybody, for joining. And Leandra, you have some questions for us.
Exactly. Hi, everyone. My name is Leandra, and I'm the operation manager at Rocksolid Estate, and I will be asking the questions today. So the first question is for you, Sebastian. What is the percentage of monthly payouts investors can expect from this project?
So that's the thing. As I mentioned in the beginning, we pay out every month. We have a baseline of payout that we pay out every year. And depending on how the yields get higher, or we do some great investments or have a profit, the people can expect between 5 to 10% yield that they can receive. But also, when you buy a ROC token now, maybe the price of the ROC token will be somewhere else because we bought new real estate, we optimized it, or even we sold it with some profit. So that's depending on the market, but that's also a very important thing, that the real estate that we buy have a lot of potential. And that's our expertise, especially Bernard and Christian's expertise, to optimize this real estate.
Perfect, thank you. So the next question will also be for you. Will there be an option for a savings plan or recurring automatic purchases in the future?
Yeah, so at the moment, the investment runs directly via Equito. You verify there, upload your euros, and then buy the ROC token. In the future, with the secondary market and different exchanges, of course, exchanges have something like this, like a saving plan, when you can say, I want to invest €100 every month. So this will be, especially with the secondary market, definitely possible.
Perfect. So the next question is for you, Christian. How can a retail investor assess the value of their share, considering that even professionals find it challenging to evaluate the value of commercial properties? How does tokenization address this?
Well, thank you. That's a very difficult question. Of course, there are some ways where our investors, let's say, have an idea of how much worth a property is, because just in the first, we have something which no other product in the financial market offers, that is the voting rights. And the voting rights will be also given if we decide to buy a property. Because if we buy the property, we want to buy a property, we send all the information out to our investors in order to decide whether we should buy it or not. So they know already the buying price, the possible buying price, by sending out this information in the beginning. And since we are an Austrian company, and the Austrian law, or the Austrian tax law, says that the price of buying is also the price which is in our balance sheet, means that is actually the value of the property. Of course, we will have experts, also external experts, doing a price estimation during the years, and they will also say, okay, this property increased in price, or there's a problem with this property, this is a lower price. And then, of course, is our expertise also to optimize these properties in order to increase the value. That is, of course, our goal. But we don't promise something, like others, which they, we will have like 20-30% increase of value every year. I mean, this is ridiculous. And if somebody goes up high like this, it could also go down like this. But that's also why we chose the Austrian market, because we have a very calm market compared to other countries in Austria. And that means more or less the buying price and putting the inflation to it, more or less, the yearly inflation, will have more or less the increase of price of this property, because also the rental income will increase with the inflation. And that gives that, based on a certain yield model, a quite slow increase of price. That means 3, 5, 7% a year, depending on the kind of property and the kind of optimization we do. But of course, it could happen that if we finally sell something, then we have a very nice surprise, because then we maybe have a much higher price, because we already had some experience in developing some hospitality real estate, and honestly speaking, we doubled the price within 2 years. So that is possible, but we will see that at the end when we sell it. And that's actually the point where we also have the yield available for spreading it and distributing it to our investors. And that is the actual point where we see then the value of the real estate.
Thank you very much, Christian. So the next question will also be for you, Sebastian. Are there plans to integrate with additional blockchains in the future?
So I think that's a very interesting question, because like Christian mentioned, when we have a high yield, all the people will see it and will think, that's very interesting. I want to have one ROC token. And that's when we have the accessibility out there. The people will ask for the ROC token, therefore also will drive the price. And therefore we also need some new blockchains to integrate with exchanges that offer, for instance, they have something like Polygon or Avalanche. You need some blockchains like this to integrate with these exchanges, that they can offer the ROC token on their platform, and that these exchanges make it possible to diversify the exchanges even more, that they have the license to put it on other exchanges because they use their license. So simple answer is yes. We are integrating new blockchains and additional blockchains to make the whole project and the whole ROC token even more transparent and tradable and accessible for the people out there.
Thank you. So now I have a question for Bernhard. How many properties does Rocksolid Estate own at the moment?
Yeah, I guess that's something that many people want to know here, but at the moment we don't own any properties with Rocksolid Estate. But what we did so far is that we already are having an option for a hospitality portfolio in Vienna, which is valued at 5.7 million euros. And we also already voted on this portfolio positively with the ROC token holders. And what is really important to mention here at this point, we already signed a profit turnover agreement with the seller of this portfolio, which means that we already received the profit of this real estate, a share of the profit every month. And with this agreement, we could already save the monthly payouts for all the ROC token holders. So short answer is no, we don't own any properties right now at the moment, but we already have an option that we could buy or take any moment. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. The next question is for Sebastian again. Why is the current yield, which is set at 2%, relatively low?
So that's exactly what, adding to Bernhard's question, because we had to vote. So when we as Rocksolid, we want to buy a real estate, we have to ask our investors, that's part of our prospectus, then they vote on it, and then the whole buying process starts. The people invest, and we are signing the contracts to buy new real estate. Like the one Bernhard mentioned, we signed the contract and already receive a profit from this real estate, and we buy it step by step. In the future, let's say from now in half a year, in 1 year, and 5 years, we have, for instance, 5 or 10 several properties, and then the buying process is ongoing. The baseline at the moment is at 2% exactly, because when we own, for instance, 1 or 2 real estate, we have much more yield, and then we can, of course, also pay out more. So the baseline is that we pay out like from the profit transfer agreement on a monthly basis, and the more real estate we own, the faster we can increase this number from 2% to 3% to 4% to 5%. As I mentioned, something between 5 and 10% is realistic. But when also, like Christian mentioned, we buy real estate and optimize it, and for instance, double the price and then sell it, then of course we have a much higher yield to pay out. And then we will also ask the investors, what should we do with the profit? Should we optimize the real estate and gain some more value for the ROC token, or should we distribute it and pay out more? For instance, then up 2% per year, so maybe 5 or 7 or 8%, because now we have a profit that we can pay out. And that's also very transparent from us, that we want to tell you that we are buying constantly and trying to make the best agreements, like the profit transfer agreement, because we already get a profit, even we are in the buying process right now.
Thank you. The next question is also about the yield, so also for you. How is the yield calculated and what factors contribute to it?
I think that's exactly the same answer that I just gave. The real estate generates revenue and we pay out. I don't know if Bernhard or Christian want to add something to this question.
No, but as you mentioned, I think it's very clear our concept. So the more properties we own, the bigger the yield will be, because the cost structure, as you could see on the chart, will get lower and lower as we don't take any yearly management fees compared to a real estate fund, like Christian explained.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. The next question is for Christian. Will there be an option to claim the yield directly in ROC tokens instead of receiving payouts in other forms?
Yeah, we would wish to do that in the future, because that would be very, very useful for both investors and us. Right now, we pay out in e-credits, and as Sebastian mentioned, the future could be some Avalanche or some other blockchains as well, so that we could offer some USDC or USDT payouts. And of course, that would be great to pay out in ROC token, especially if we have it on a secondary market. That would be our target, to include that action in the next few months.
Okay, thank you. Bernhard, how does Rocksolid Estate ensure the long-term profitability of its properties?
Yeah, I think the main interest of good asset management is always to increase the asset value of the properties and also to increase the net income of the properties. And for this reason, always when we consider buying a property, we develop some kind of strategy, of course, and also an investment plan. And this means that we always analyze how to, for example, how can we get good occupancy rate in our hospitality assets, or what technical improvements can we add to the assets that we own. And the goal will always be, and doesn't matter which asset class, to always have a good tenant structure and to have good maintenance. And with this, I think that we can definitely ensure long-time profitability and payouts, solid payouts to the ROC token holders.
Thank you. Christian, what safeguards are in place to protect investor funds, and how does blockchain ensure transparency?
Yeah, well, this question could take us very far. Let me just summarize some steps which have to be overcome, actually. First, we have the law in Austria, which is quite restrictive. We made a public limited company, that is the AG, in German is Aktiengesellschaft, which is based on some strict regulations, actually, compared to a private limited company. For example, you have to have a supervisory board, which is controlling the executive board. Of course, we also had to come up with the Financial Market Authority, because what we did is we established a security here. So we have an easy number. That means we are a security, such a share listed on any stock exchange. That puts us also into some regulations which have to be followed by us. Of course, we have the MiCA, we have the MiFID. So we have some regulations as far as the distribution of the ROC token is concerned. That means Equito, as a MiFID II licensed broker, is only allowed to distribute our security, and that a lot of regulations actually including the internal boards, the supervisory board, which has to control all the things we do, are installed, and that gives us, of course, a high level of security. And the technical security, of course, is based on the blockchain, which is the highest possible security right now in the world. Better than any data center of a bank or something like that, which could be hacked, because the blockchain is almost unhackable. It doesn't pay the effort if you try it. So that are a lot of things we installed here, which puts our investors into the most secure place possible.
Thank you. The next question is also for you. What are the future plans for the ROC token, including listing on other platforms or expanding to new markets?
Yeah, that is really what drives us right now. We are this quarter and also the next one has our focus on starting a secondary market listing. We are in the discussion with big names in the industry and just evaluating the possible listing options we have. And of course, about market making, all that stuff. So that puts us also into some work altogether. But we are quite confident to find a good solution for everybody, that so the ROC token can be traded very soon. And we are quite confident that until the mid of the year, we will have a working solution available on an international platform, stock exchange, as an exchange, actually not stock exchange, but an exchange. Also, of course, somebody who can do stocks, because we are security. So we need somebody who is also MiFID II licensed exchange and not only MiCA, because normal crypto exchange is actually not enough security and not enough regulated for us. So we have to find somebody who can offer more than that.
Thank you very much. Bernhard, the next question is for you. How does Rocksolid Estate select its properties, and what criteria are used to determine their investment potential?
I think here it's important to mention that our primary focus at the moment is the Viennese market, real estate market. And generally, when we consider buying a new property, we will always have a standard process like technical, legal, economical due diligence. So this is really important for us to check if the property really fits the needs of the Rocksolid Estate AG. And talking about the criteria itself, of course, location is always important, tenant structure, operating costs, net income, and also probably the potential to increase the net income of a property. This is also something that we always consider. And yeah, sustainability is a really important topic, like the technical status of the property. How can we improve the energy certification, stuff like this, of course, is really important to us. Can we change the heating system? And based on these factors, usually we would offer or we would suggest to our ROC token holders to buy a new property or not. But basically, this will be the criteria that we look at.
Thank you. The next question is for you, Christian. What are the risks associated with investing in tokenized real estate, and how does Rocksolid address them?
Well, risks are, of course, many in this world. I mean, that's clear. As we saw, the interest rates went up, and everybody was surprised in the real estate industry because they went up so fast that you could not even react in a proper way. So, of course, bearing that in mind, we will have a very risk-averted way of looking at investments. And of course, we will have a very thorough check of the property and also of the potential, because I think that is something which we could really offer to our investors, that we are able to increase the value by optimizing the real estate, because that is what we've been doing for many years for our clients already, for the international investment industry. And I think that could be the biggest part of the yield, actually, in the long run for Rocksolid Estate. And that also reduces the risks. So if you buy property with a high potential and a low risk profile, then in the long run, you will have the highest gain, actually, the highest profit with these properties.
Thank you, Christian. The next question is for you, Sebastian. How does the voting process work for token holders, and what decisions can they influence?
Yeah, speaking of votings, I just started a survey here in the chat. We would like to know who already owns ROC Token and who will buy some soon. So please take part in the voting here, then we can see how voting works. And that's exactly how the voting works at Rocksolid. We have an investor portal. So after your investment, you have your ROC Token, and your ROC Token represents also a vote that you can take and participate in votings for questions like, which real estate should we buy? Should we optimize a real estate or whatsoever? And that's also part of our prospectus, because we want to give you the option to decide what to do. So for instance, as Bernhard and Christian mentioned, we are investing in the real estate market in the commercial sector. There's an option like we want to buy some hotel real estate, or maybe office building, or even we go in the photovoltaic area and buy some solar power, yeah? And then we combine these all things into the ROC Token. So it could be that the ROC Token represents more real estate from the hotel sector, but it's open to you if we more focus on the office sector. And I think that's a very interesting part also, because the blockchain makes it possible to make votings and the whole real estate market democratized. And you can also be part of this whole voting process with just 100 euro. So I think it's also only very interesting to just own some ROC Token to take part in something that's very new out there. So if you're not at ROC Token yet, yeah, if you have some questions, you can ask more questions, and then we are happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Sebastian. So we are already at the last question from the questions we received from you guys. So Bernhard, what role does sustainability play in Rocksolid's property investment and overall strategy?
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned before, sustainability plays a major role. I think if you're on the real estate market at the moment, especially in times of climate change, it's really important to consider in the investment decisions. And especially also from an economical point of view, I guess if you want to compete with other investors, institutional investors on the market, you have to focus on things like sustainability in the future. And the question will always be, what can we do with our existing properties? What can we improve? Can we add some photovoltaic? Can we change the heating system, for example? So this is always something that we have to ask ourselves, and especially also if we buy new properties. What is the energy certificate? What is the heating system? Can we change it? Can we change it in the future? And what is also important to consider, I think, is we are now a small company. So the main focus can't be on sustainability right from the beginning on. We just have to start to get the machine going. But of course, in the future, probably already this year, when we start to buy whole buildings, of course, we prefer the heat pump and the photovoltaic before the gas heating system. And this is something that we will always keep in mind and put a focus on. And nowadays, to maybe summarize it, I guess it's not all about the yield in the end, but also about factors like sustainability. So, yeah.
Thank you, Bernhard.
May I just add on that, something on that? Properties also offer some additional possibilities. And one of them is, of course, a very simple thing. If you have an industrial property and maybe you have a very huge roof available of 1,000 square meters or more, you can install a photovoltaic power plant, for example, on that. And that gives us maybe in the future also the possibility to offer a kind of energy community to our investors. It means that you probably could then buy cheaper energy because you invested into Rocksolid, because we offer then sustainability via our PV or windmill power plants, and therefore also the investors have an additional advantage because of investing into Rocksolid.
And I think what we can mention here is it will always also be a decision of the ROC token holders. Like as Sebastian explained with the voting rights, we will always offer you or suggest, should we add photovoltaic on this light industrial building? Should we improve the technical status? Should we improve the energy certification? So this will always be decisions that we will make together with you, where we will include all the ROC token holders in the end.
Yeah. Maybe to summarize the voting that we just made during this call, 4 people voted, 3 said yes, 1 no, but that's how voting works, and that's the portal.
Okay, maybe are there any more questions? Like, everybody feel free to post questions also in the chat, of course. Yeah, we're here to answer them.
I think the chat doesn't really work, as I heard.
The chat doesn't work.
But I think Sebastian said that they could also put the questions into the Telegram group. So if there are any questions, please feel free and post them into the Telegram group. And if there aren't any questions, then maybe next time we can answer some new ones. If we have also some interesting news, especially based on the secondary market, which is, I think, everybody's waiting for, as well as we do.
I think the secondary market is one of the most interesting things when we talk about tokenized real estate, because that's the thing making real estate. A real estate that's very hard to transfer from one person to another because of notary and all that stuff. We make it tradable. Tokenized, the easier you can transfer the real estate between each other or on the secondary markets. And on top of that, of course, you will receive a monthly payout, also on different blockchains. So we're working on many different things at the moment. And yeah, but if there are no questions for now, feel free to also reach out to us via the Telegram group. All investors have an opportunity to join an official Telegram group. Everybody who has not the link to Telegram group, you will receive an email very soon. Thank you very much, everybody, for visiting the meeting today.
All right, then have a nice evening, and hope to see you soon.
Everybody. It was a pleasure. Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.